There are days I stand in the middle of the house holding a dish towel, and I can't even remember what I was about to do. It's not because I'm lazy, it's because my brain is spinning the laundry isn't done. The kitchen's a mess. The kids are coming home and my phone won't stop buzzing. I spent years living like that, always feeling like everything was urgent, and I was behind on all of it. So today, I want to share 10 small habits that have genuinely changed the way I live inside my home. Not productivity hacks, not a perfect checklist, just real rhythms I've tried, failed at, returned to. Because they actually made things feel easier. And if you're feeling like everything is kind of tangled and chaotic, maybe one of these will help loosen a knot or two. The first habit is the one that made me stop dreading cleaning the kitchen at night, and that alone felt like a small miracle. There was a time when I thought the only way to feel calm was to clean the whole house, especially before bed. First, let's start in the kitchen, the place where stress often piles up by the end of the day. You don't have to end your day in the mess that broke you. I used to save the kitchen cleanup for after dinner, thinking that was the right time. But by then, my body was tired. The kids were loud, clingy, or cranky. My brain was done. And I'd stand there, dishes stacked floor sticky, and want to cry. Then, I changed one small thing. I started resetting the kitchen right after lunch. Just 10-15 minutes. Wipe the counters. Sweep the crumbs. Load whatever dishes are sitting there. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be not overwhelming. I get it done while the baby naps or the kids are winding down for quiet time. That one shift gave me back my evenings. Now dinner mess is half what it used to be. My evening self doesn't have to clean up for my earlier self. And when the day ends, I actually feel like I get to rest, not just reset for tomorrow. Because when you don't dread the kitchen, the whole house feels easier. And once I had that rhythm, it made me realize I could apply the same thinking to other chores I used to hate, like laundry. And when you don't dread the kitchen, the whole house feels easier. It's funny that one simple change reminded me how powerful the smallest adjustments can be. And if that kind of shift speaks to you, you won't want to miss tomorrow's video. I'm walking through cleaning hacks inspired by Japanese homemaking. They're clever, calming, and honestly, a little genius. It's the kind of video you'll wish you had years ago. Next, you don't have to let laundry become a mountain that drains your energy every week. Next, let's talk about the endless cycle of laundry and how a small shift changed everything for me. Laundry used to feel like a slow avalanche. It started small, a basket or two. But by the time I found time to deal with it, there'd be piles in every room, clothes that got rewashed 3 times, and kids yelling, "I don't have any clean socks." Here's what changed everything: I stopped mixing laundry. Every person in my house has their own hamper. No more sorting by lights and darks. I just grab one hamper, wash that load, fold it, and put it away. That's it. No mountain, no decision fatigue. And the best part, I don't waste time sorting anything anymore. Towels go with towels, bedding with bedding. No more. What is this sock and who does it belong to? I do one person's laundry from start to finish, usually on a set day, but if life gets off track, it still feels simple. The system doesn't fall apart just because I skip Tuesday. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being able to breathe. I don't want laundry to be the thing that tips me over the edge. Now it runs quietly in the background like it should. And when that background noise quieted, it gave me just enough mental space to fix something else. The endless question of, what's for dinner? Next. There was a time when the question, what's for dinner, felt like the final straw. Now let's move to meals, because food shouldn't feel like a daily battle. The question, what's for dinner, used to feel like a personal attack. Not because I didn't want to cook, but because I was tired of making that decision every single day. It always hit me when the kids were hungry, the fridge was a mystery, and I was already low on energy. I tried weekly meal planning and I hated it. It felt like another task on my list. I'd scribble out meals I didn't want to cook, shop for things I didn't end up using, and still feel like I was scrambling. So I stopped forcing myself to do it the right way. Instead, I started thinking just one meal ahead. While I make breakfast, I glance in the fridge and think about lunch. While prepping lunch, I decide what's for dinner. That's it. No big calendar, no massive prep. just small, gentle decisions before the pressure hits. One shift from planning everything to being just a little ahead, and it made meals feel doable again. I still repeat the same 10-12 meals we actually like. But now I don't feel ambushed by dinner time, I'm ready before it hits. When food stops feeling like a fight, the whole day gets lighter. And with that small mental load off, I finally had space to do something I used to think was impossible. Pause in the middle of the day. Tip 4. You don't have to earn your rest by finishing everything first. The next thing I changed wasn't a chore, it was my mindset around rest. For years, I believed there was no space for me to rest. Nap time meant chores. Quiet time meant catching up. And by the end of the day, I was so drained I didn't even know what I needed anymore other than to not be touched, not be talked to, and not be needed. Then one afternoon I made tea and just sat. No phone, no task, no plan. Just a cup of hot tea and a chair near the window. It lasted maybe 7 minutes before someone needed something, but still I felt reset. Just enough to not snap at everyone at 5 p.m. Now I make that moment part of my day. It's not every single day. It's not always tea. Sometimes it's stepping outside alone. Sometimes it's lying on the floor and breathing deeply while the kids color nearby. But I build it in like I would a chore because it keeps me from burning out. Rest isn't a reward. It's how I last. And when I do it, I parent better. I clean smarter. I even make dinner with more patience. It's a small pause, but it shifts the whole tone of the second half of my day. That pause is what helped me notice something else I'd been missing: beauty. Just small, quiet beauty that made home feel soft again. Next. There was a time when I thought beauty had to wait until the house was perfect. Let's talk about something gentle adding beauty, even in the middle of mess. I used to think beauty had to wait until everything else was under control. Like I didn't deserve fresh flowers or a cozy corner unless the laundry was folded, the dishes done, the floors vacuumed. So I waited, and I was always waiting. Then one day, I put marigolds from the garden in a chipped old jar, and everything felt different. The kitchen was still messy, but that tiny burst of orange on the counter made me smile every time I passed by. It reminded me that I was allowed to enjoy my home even while still working on it. Now, I create little pockets of beauty that bring me joy, nothing fancy. A thrifted lamp I love. A blanket that feels soft. A playlist that makes the room feel calm. I don't do it to impress anyone. I do it because home should feel like a gentle place to land, even when it's loud, messy, and lived in. Beauty doesn't come after the work. It is part of the work. And the more I lean into that, the more grounded I feel, like my home is not just functional, but nurturing. That grounding feeling gave me space to start tackling the small things that used to pile up silently like papers. All those permission slips, school notes, bills, and receipts, sitting in sad stacks on the counter. Tip 6. You don't have to let paper clutter chip away at your mental clarity. Now we'll shift to something small but sneaky. The quiet chaos of paper piles. Paper clutter doesn't scream, it sneaks. It shows up in tiny stacks: school flyers, unopened mail receipts, manuals, random notes from the dentist. And suddenly your kitchen counter looks like a lost and found bin for paperwork. So I gave it one rule: everything lands in one place. I set up a single tray on the side of our kitchen counter. That's where all paper goes, nothing left in backpacks, purses, or dining tables. No decision, no sorting. Just drop it in the tray. Once a week, usually Friday, I go through the tray. I set a timer for 15 minutes. Trash what's junk. Snap a photo if I need a record. Put important papers in their folders. It's not perfect, but it means I'm never digging through 5 spots trying to find a permission slip at 7:30 a.m. It's the smallest system, but it gave me back so much mental clarity. Because when every paper has a place, so does every decision. I don't have to hold it all in my head. And once that corner was under control, I realized the same thinking could apply to schedules too, especially when everyone in the house needs to be somewhere somehow all at once. Next, there was a time when I carried the entire family's schedule in my head and it nearly broke me. Let's talk about calendars and how sharing the plan gave me back my brain. I used to carry the whole schedule in my head and it nearly broke me. Who had a dentist appointment? Which day was early pickup? What time was the birthday party? My brain was constantly buffering, trying to remember all the moving parts. So I stopped being the walking calendar. I bought a simple whiteboard calendar and hung it in the kitchen. Nothing fancy, just big enough to write down the basics, who's going where and when. Now anyone can check it. My husband, my kids, even me when I forget. I update it every Sunday night. It takes 10 minutes. I copy things over from my phone, write in reminders, and that's it. I'm not constantly answering what are we doing tomorrow or scrambling to pack a bag last minute. Sharing the calendar lightened my mental load more than I expected. Because it's not just about appointments, it's about not having to hold everything for everyone. I'm still the planner, but I'm no longer the only person who knows what's happening. And once the calendar stress softened, I noticed another hidden source of clutter, the stuff we never seem to finish, like laundry. But not just doing laundry, actually making it manageable from start to finish. You don't have to solve a laundry puzzle every single week. Next up, another laundry shift this time, one that completely changed the rhythm of my week. Laundry used to feel like a giant puzzle I never finished. Lights, darks, towels, delicates. I spent more time sorting than actually cleaning, and folding felt like a second full-time job. So I stopped sorting by category and started sorting by person. Now every person in my house has their own laundry hamper. When I wash, I grab one hamper wash, that person's clothes only dry fold and put away. No matching mystery socks. No mixing toddler clothes with adult shirts. No brain power needed. I loosely assign days, but I don't stress if it shifts. Mondays are bedding, Tuesdays for the kids. Wednesdays for mine and the babies, but if life happens, the system holds. I just pick up where I left off. The key is no laundry gets dumped into a shared pile ever again. Laundry became less of a mountain and more of a rhythm. Because I'm not sorting socks at 10 p.m. anymore. I'm not rewashing loads I forgot. And most importantly, I don't feel behind, I feel steady. And there was a time when I thought more toys meant more happiness, but it just meant more chaos. Now let's move into kid clutter and what happened when I stopped putting everything out at once. Kid clutter isn't always about quantity, it's about visibility. When every toy, every book, every puzzle is out at the same time, the room feels chaotic. And so do the kids. They bounce from one thing to the next, then complain they're bored while sitting in a mountain of options. So I started rotating. Quietly, without fanfare. Each week, I set out just a small basket of books and a few intentional toy sets. The rest I store in bins out of sight. Then every Sunday, I swap in a new rotation. Suddenly, the kids are more engaged. They rediscover old toys like they're brand new. This also made cleanup 100 times easier. Fewer things out means fewer pieces to lose, fewer meltdowns over messes, and fewer moments of me stepping on plastic dinosaurs barefoot at 7 a.m. It's not about owning less, it's about showing less at once. And in return, our home feels calmer. The living room isn't a toy store And finally, you don't have to wait for a big cleaning day to feel in control of your home. Finally, I want to share the one tiny habit that quietly keeps everything from falling apart. I used to walk past messes telling myself I'll deal with that later. Later turned into tomorrow. Tomorrow turned into a weekend of frustration. And eventually I'd look around wondering why the house never felt truly clean no matter how much I did. Then I started a tiny rule. If I touch it, I put it back. 1 cup, straight to the sink, jacket on a chair, back on the hook. Toy in the hallway. Drop it into the right bin as I walk by. No detours, no, I'll do it later. Just a 5-second act of resetting. It doesn't sound like much, but it stacks up. Do it 10 to 20 times a day and suddenly your home stays almost clean without you even noticing the effort. The sink isn't overflowing, the counters aren't covered in things that don't belong there. It's not about perfection, it's about momentum. This tiny habit keeps the house from unraveling when life gets full. It gives me a sense of control not by doing more, but by letting small actions carry the weight. And when I combine all 10 habits, the rhythms, the rest, the resets, home doesn't feel like a project anymore. It feels like a place I actually get to live in. You don't have to do all of this at once. Sometimes one small shift is enough to make the day feel lighter, and that's a good place to begin. If even just one of these habits made you breathe easier, then this video did what it needed to do. And if you want to keep making space, not just in your home, but in your mind, I have a video about decluttering room by room that might be a gentle next step for you. If this felt helpful, you can tap like it's a quiet way to tell me this kind of support matters. If this felt helpful, you can tap like it's a quiet way to tell me this kind of support matters. And tomorrow we're diving into something special, a collection of Japanese cleaning habits that are so smart and simple, you'll wonder why no one told you sooner. It's full of the kind of aha moments that make homemaking feel less heavy. I hope I'll see you back here for it because honestly, I think it might become one of your favorites.